It
we have a
seems like
cat.
we're live. Let me just cut you off there on
Okay.
the chit chat before. We are live. It is 30 with Karen and Justin. It is Thursday and it is 1 p.m. or maybe just a minute before. We're actually early today. That's great news. Today we're here with some amazing people who see the side of animal rescue most of us never do. Marsha Locke and Doug Shirton from the Burlington Humane Society. Most people see the happy adoption photos, and they're the ones doing the day-to-day work behind all of that, caring for the animals, making tough decisions, and keeping the whole operation running so every animal gets a real second chance. Thank you for coming on the show today, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Let's start with some fun questions. What is something that people completely misunderstand about animal shelters in general?
The difference between the municipal city shelters and, humane societies such as ourselves. So in Burlington, there's a Burlington Animal Shelter, which has the animal control contract,
Right.
and they're government funded.
Got it.
So we're private. We have nothing to do with the city. We don't do any animal control. We don't go out on calls and pick up animals, that sort of thing. And all the revenue is driven by our fundraising, donations, legacy gifts, and so on.
Right. And what does that look like as far as the differentiator, like how you get animals in? Like, where's the difference there?
They will pretty well just stick to Burlington. Um, Unfortunately, they're not known as any city shelter is not known as no kill, because in their contract they have to take all strays, whether they're full or not. They don't have to take all surrenders, and they will turn people away if they are full. But unfortunately, it's just the reality. There's only so much space within the walls. We're here, if we're full, we just say, sorry, we can't take any more. We're not mandated to take every stray that comes to the door. But we truly are no kill. A lot of the shelters that unfortunately are forced to take whatever comes their way, they have to make those tough decisions. So
Right.
if an animal is absolutely terrified, they've been there a week, there's no improvement with temperament, they're going to take up a cage a long time being socialized.
Right.
Medicals, if it's very expensive, when you're only given an annual contract and you can't anticipate what's going to come through your door, you have to have enough funds to spread through all of those animals that could walk through the door. So they're not going to be doing expensive dentals and orthopedic surgeries that, upwards of 10,000 if you're trying to repair a broken leg. So they'll do their best to send out to other facilities such as ourselves, or certain cases they will have to resort to euthanasia, where we'll do GoFundMes, we'll do bake sales. We find a way to raise the money. We don't have all the red tape and the constraints.
Specifically for individual animals, you're doing GoFundMes and different
Correct.
things like that, right? As opposed to a blanket. I mean, you probably also do blanket fundraising for the facility as well, but I think that actually is very effective. I would imagine you find when you have a specific animal connected to a fundraising page, there must be a little more effectiveness on that, because those animals are, quite frankly, they must be adorable and things like that. Yes.
And we have to make sure that our animals are healthy
Right.
before we adopt them out.
Right.
That we take the time and the care to provide the medical that they need.
Right. Right. Is there a part of your job that's the hardest sort of thing to deal with on a daily basis? I don't want to talk about the negative too long. Let's talk about the happy stuff after, but let's get through the tough stuff first.
So it's all emotionally difficult, because we're small enough that we know every single animal comes into this building. And although the animals get a second home, they get a second chance at life, we still have to say goodbye to those animals.
Right.
And the animals that we get to know and love and care for. So it's very emotional.
Yeah, I mean,
so what are your backgrounds?
Well, I guess I have a bit of a varied background. Started out in, social services with, special needs, individuals, and I did massage therapy, and all the while I was volunteering here at the shelter, and I was fostering for another organization. And I got started in all of this when there was a a large horde of 100 cats thrown outside of a hoarding house was evicted out
I
in,
think I heard about that story actually.
it was in the newspaper. It was out in
Yeah.
Beamsville on Merritt Road.
Mhm.
So it got some media, you know,
Coverage, yeah.
publicity. Yes, thank you. So I just showed up with a car, a carrier, and a big heart and said, what can I do to help? And I realized there was nobody in charge. People were coming at night and just taking cats off the property, didn't know who they were. There was
Jeez.
nowhere in place for them to go. And so me and another individual got it organized. We raised $13,000. We found foster homes and got them the
Wow.
care they needed, and then got them into rescues to be adopted. And then
Wow.
people kept calling us. It was just going to be a one-time thing, but because we'd set up a Facebook page, the calls kept coming. So that's how I got involved, and then I
Wow.
ultimately went full-time here. And Doug, your background?
Yeah, most of the staff are animal care, and my role is mainly administrative. So I came from amateur sport background. And when I was working in amateur sport, I lived in Ottawa at the time, and I volunteered as a foster parent with the Ottawa Humane Society. So I
Right.
took in pregnant, stray female cats and their litters and watched the kittens grow up. And, so I got involved that way. And then when this position came available, I thought, oh, well, that's something that I'm really interested in.
True.
I've heard that 80% of all Canadians hate their jobs. And I thought, well, I want to do something that I love, because you spend all your time
Oh,
at your job. So you have to
Oh.
love it.
We have a visitor.
we have a visitor. That's all right. Very well expected and very exciting. I love this.
So
This
this
is
is
adorable.
Ziggy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Ziggy came in as a stray, and he's had his vet care, and he is completely adorable, very, very lovable, very confident. So we figured he would do well for this segment.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Take him anywhere, and he's great. So
He looks incredibly healthy too. He looks very
Oh,
healthy.
yeah.
he's young,
Very friendly.
friendly.
And we have a kids club where we bring in children, and they're around between the ages of 6 and 12. And whenever we can, we want to bring in animals for the kids to meet that we have that are safe for the kids to meet, because we want them to develop a humane consciousness. We want them to know how to be safe around dogs and cats. And
Right.
they have to realize too that the animals that we get here at Burlington Humane, they're not like Fluffy at home. You can't just run up to any animal
Mm.
and love on them like you
Yeah,
would
yeah.
your animal at home. Ziggy, this guy, yes, you can, but he's not the norm here at Burlington Humane.
I'm sure there's a lot of trauma, right, involved in some of these animals that come through your center, right?
Oh yeah, they all have a history, and most of the time we have no idea what their history is. We have no
Yeah.
idea what they've gone through before they came to us. And people will ask, well, what's this animal's story? Well, he came in as a stray.
Yeah.
Yes, but before that, what happened? Well, we have no
We don't
idea.
know. Yeah.
Gee,
Yeah.
I wish that we could talk. I wish they could
Wish they could talk.
eh?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's why our shelter is so important, that we do give these animals a second chance.
Mhm, mhm.
Is
So-
obviously the cat story is pretty incredible, rescuing those cats in Beamsville, but is there a story or a rewarding moment that you've experienced that really hits home for you?
I think the tough medical cases that come through, we had a cat that came in, it was like frozen to the side of a wall
Oh,
in the middle of the winter, and it was literally frozen, and to bring that cat back from brink of death.
wow.
And then animals that just come in that have clearly suffered being a stray on the street, and they have umpteen things wrong with them, broken legs and infections and rotted out mouths. And it's the ones that are on death's door, and you see them unaffected. They still trust people, even though they've obviously been let down by them. Just those loving hearts, forgiving hearts,
Yeah.
and just to see them fight to survive, and
Mm.
then you get them out.
They
to the other
want to
side.
survive. That's
Yeah.
the interesting part, is like they don't want to die, and you can see them come back with a little bit of love. I've seen these stories. I mean, TikTok is a wonderful app that allows you kind of insight into some of this. Some of these organizations like yours have behind the scenes stuff. And, you could see that while they're terrified, they don't want to die. They don't want to be treated that way. And it's just wonderful to see that you people are doing this, and also wonderful to see that Ziggy can find his comfort anywhere. That's
Yep.
that's like a neck pillow.
I mean, Doug, you don't even, like, this is love, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Tell
he'll
me
be at
about
home by the weekend. He won't be here by the end of Saturday. The cats like this, they don't last more than a day or two once they go up on the website for adoption. But what we really want people to open their hearts to are the ones that aren't like this. They're not in your face. They're hiding in the back of their cage, maybe a little terrified. And those cats, sometimes we've had cats a year and a half with us waiting for somebody to give them a chance. And they're often overlooked. Every animal does get a home eventually, but when people go to an animal shelter, we just want to encourage them just to potentially give the ones that are hiding in the back an opportunity as well. Some of them do really terrible at the shelter. You can barely touch them. And we get pictures within 2 weeks of being into a new home, and they're a lap cat.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question. A misconception about adoption. That must happen quite often, where they don't know where they're at. They don't feel the same kind of environment when they're in that shelter environment versus when they're at home.
And no matter how comfortable we make their stay here, nothing beats a home environment. We have that one person that will look after them and take care of them and give them the space they need to come out of their shell. That's when you see the real success stories.
Yeah.
How do you decide when an animal's ready for adoption? Let me ask that, Karen, then you jump in after.
Okay.
Well, we medically, if it's something that we need to be looking after at the shelter, then obviously they'll stay here. There can be times they go home foster to adopt. So if maybe we're waiting on a spay or a dental, or their ear mites need to be rechecked in a week, we will allow them to go home as foster to adopt. It gets them into their home faster and frees up space for another animal that needs to be saved. So once they're medically clear, then the adoption is finalized. So as soon as we can safely get them into a home, a cat that is a male that is not yet fixed, we wait till he's neutered because they have a tendency.
Oh no. Uh-oh. Pause. Stepping on the computer. So we've had a bit of a technical difficulty because Ziggy has decided to step on the computer. We may have to get them back into the call in a few seconds. How are you doing, Karen? Now that we're live here.
I'm good. I think that Ziggy looks very cute. And I wondered if they do they just deal with cats, Justin, or?
No, they deal with all kinds of animals. Yeah, no,
I was going to ask them the percentage of cats to
we'll
other
have
animals.
to do that now that we're here.
But I think
can we hear them? No, they may have to hop out and come back in. If you guys can hear me, you should hop out and come back in, and we'll let you back in. There we go. And they're out, and we will get them back in a second. Apologize for the delay, folks. This is live. Okay. So when we do things live, sometimes it doesn't go our way.
Sometimes cats decide that they don't.
Yes. This is the great part about it. So, but no, it's, what's the thing is, and we'll maybe hopefully ask them a couple questions about it. But one of the things I noticed over COVID is that a lot of people got animals because they were home and they could care for them and be there for them. And I think what's happened now is there's probably an influx of people back at work after COVID, all the things. I mean, we're well removed from it, that are now realizing that these animals they're not feasible for their lifestyle because they're not home as much anymore. And so it's more difficult. And
what we find is and it's interesting because I remember doing rentals years ago and never talked about a dog being included in the rental. And now I would say that every second person has a dog, a little maybe 10-pounder or even a 30-pounder, and they want to rent a property. And we're allowing investors are now saying, okay, you know what, let them have the dog in there.
Yeah.
And so it's a common common. It's changed, but it's very common now. So that investors.
Let's also not forget that the rules have changed to not allow,
Yeah,
like people
yeah.
are not allowed to discriminate against animals. We had to fill in the gaps, guys, while you were on pause there.
I think it was an internet problem, so we're now in my office.
We're blaming Ziggy is what we're doing. We're blaming Ziggy on that one.
That could have been.
It's all good. If you want to turn off your background fuzziness so that both of you can be seen, otherwise it really just picks one of you.
All right,
and so while you're doing that, we were just talking about the idea that over COVID, there was a lot of animals that got purchased and adopted and other things. And then, I think once people started to go back to work and realize that having an animal at home all the time is difficult to care for when they're at work, I'm sure there was an influx of animals coming through your facility after that fact. Is that sort of what you were seeing?
That it turned out that was kind of a myth.
Oh, interesting.
I've been in contact with all the shelters around Ontario, and there wasn't a big influx as the media reported. I think they just assumed that would happen, but it didn't happen immediately. About a year later, then there was an influx, but it wasn't an immediate thing. It just kind of happened later in the future.
Yeah.
What do you look for? Well, go ahead, Karen. You were going to ask a question before, so let's go back to that.
I wanted to know what the percentage of cats to dogs or other animals, and what other animals are included, come on your doorstep.
Well, we only have cats and dogs here. We don't look after the small animals. And we're mostly seeing cats. In Burlington, you don't see stray dogs running around the street. You see them maybe lost, and they'll make it to our doorstep, and they do most of the time get claimed.
Yeah.
Cats on the other side are rarely claimed, and that's what we're mostly receiving in as strays. A lot of people are losing their housing, and they don't know what to do, and they leave the animal in their rental unit for the landlord to deal with, or they put them outside, dump them in fields. So a lot of dumped cats, not so much dogs, not here anyway.
It's kind of a reflection of our society. Cats are seen as throwaway, whereas dogs are more valued. Probably because cats are so much more independent, and people will let their cats roam loose at night, but they won't let their dogs run loose at night.
No,
of course not. Yeah,
and the cats that are running loose at night, they get bitten by coyotes, chased by dogs, hit by cars, and they end up here at Burlington Humane.
Well, and let's not forget, there is a bylaw in the city of Burlington. You're not allowed to have your cat out off a leash, for that matter.
That's right. That's
inside
right.
the house. Exactly. So that is a law.
Is it a bylaw?
Yeah. 100%. It comes up a lot in the Facebook groups around Burlington where people are like, they'll mention something about a cat they've seen in a neighbor's yard and we don't know where it came from. And then you see all these people commenting like, well, you shouldn't have your cats outside because there's a bylaw. Well, yeah, there is a bylaw for that very reason. You know, there are other animals around that can hurt your cat. And not only that, cars and roads and so
well, especially the coyotes, because the coyotes are, I hate to say this, but there's an influx of coyotes.
and cats will also harm wildlife. They'll kill baby birds, they'll kill butterflies, and so they're dangerous to other wildlife as well. Yeah, but no, you're right. There's a bylaw. You can't let your cat run loose. It's the best forgotten bylaw in Burlington.
It is. It really that and the fire burn bylaw. So
Buddy, the best forgotten bylaw. I like that.
What's something that you wish every adopter knew before they came in to see you guys?
That our animals need a home. They don't need to go to a breeder to find an animal, that we have plenty of animals that will make wonderful pets. And they all seem to make wonderful pets. The stories that we hear from adopters are amazing. And we put it out on our own social media, the happy tales that we hear about, not all purebreds make as good a pets as ours do.
Talk to me about, well, I have some questions here and I just totally lost my train of thought. Emotional toll. So yeah. So talk to me about, like, what has changed in your mind, like just literally from doing this. How has this changed you as a human being from the start of this to now, what you know about this industry?
You see the best and the worst of people.
Mm.
We have a lot of volunteers.
Sounds like our business.
Yeah. You learn to love people and hate them at the same time. Yeah, you see what people are capable of doing to an animal that is supposed to have been their beloved pet. All the ways that people let their pets down, all the excuses we hear on the phone. And then you see the side of the adopters that will take those special needs animals, those scared animals, and they will spend whatever time is needed to get them social and healthy. And the volunteers that we have who dedicate lots of time for free. So you see the good and the bad, and thankfully it's more good than bad, but it's unfortunate to see people letting down their, what we would consider family members.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I
wish
agree.
people would
I
be
agree.
really honest about what their intentions are. We had a stray come in on Saturday, a little dog, completely matted, wasn't groomed, and oh my gosh, looked like
Probably ever. I mean,
ever.
Fleas everywhere.
Fleas everywhere. And the people that brought it in, we kind of thought, well, it's probably a person who didn't keep up with the animal's care, and the maintenance of the animal just got away from them, and then they didn't know what to do. Probably an older person, and they just had their family bring the animal in, and the family who brought it in said, oh, it's a stray, but the dog is so friendly. Strays aren't usually as friendly like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish they would just be honest about, unfortunately got away from us, or so-and-so didn't know how to take care of them, or what have you. And we'll gladly accept them. And so, the animal that we have now, we had to give them an emergency grooming. And when a stray comes in, we have to hold them for 5 business days. In the event that they're lost, it gives the owner a chance to come and find them. But because if this dog was a surrender and we knew it was a surrender, we could give it medical care immediately and put it up for adoption immediately, rather than having the dog wait here as a stray.
Yeah.
And now it has to wait 5 business days before we can really do anything and intervene in the animal's health.
Right.
Can that little puppy come in front of our screen, or is that not?
Oh, he's in well, I have a cat in my office and he's in the dog area, but we were thinking maybe we could do somehow find a way to do another segment where we could see more
Show
of the
some of the
shelter.
pets.
Maybe you guys
Yeah.
could come
we would love that.
That would be
Yeah.
amazing.
I love that.
So let's talk a little bit about the support options here and adoption options and how that process works, so that people get a sense of what to do. Okay, I've made a decision in my brain. I want to come and adopt a dog or a cat. Do I just walk in the front door? Do I send an email? How do I start the process of that?
Yeah, you're welcome to walk in. Most of our adoptions are walk-ins. You're welcome to put in an application on our website. It's not mandatory. We'll certainly get your information while you're here. So yeah, you would just walk in at your convenience, and we'll take you around for a tour. And we do same-day adoptions. That is a possibility. So people can come with, if it's a cat, come with a carrier if they're prepared to take a cat home that day. Dogs, come with a collar and a leash. And there might be times where we require a second meet and greet, especially for dogs. We want to make sure that all the family members have met the pets. So not every adoption will be same day, but there are instances where if it's appropriate, then that's feasible.
Do you have criteria for adopters, or is there like a process of like eliminating them if they don't fit a specific criteria?
We get a lot of information just by talking with people. People when they're here and we're asking questions as they're meeting the animals, we get a really good sense of how they're going to be able to take care of this animal. You know, we used to require people to fill out an adoption application before they came in. That was the first step. And we got a lot of pushback from people saying, well, I haven't even seen the animal. How can I fill out an application?
Right.
And so we've listened to the public, and now we just bring in people in and we'll give them a tour and get them to see and meet the animals. And if they go online, all the animals that are available for adoption are listed on our website. And that will give us an idea of the kind of animal that they're looking for. If they go online first and see that, read about the temperament, and then they'll get a better idea of what we have, as opposed to showing them every animal in the building.
So are they allowed to have a time period, a trial period?
Well, we have a 2-week window where they can return the animal and they get their adoption fee back. If they want to return the animal in 6 months, we'll obviously take the animal back. But there's that
But there's no trial. They can't foster an animal, and that's their trial adoption.
Right.
You know, they have to be pretty certain that they're ready for an animal. They understand what it takes to take care of an animal, or they've had the experience. And again, as we say, when we talk to the people, you get a pretty good idea quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're probably outlaying worst case scenarios, and here's all the things to make sure that they're comfortable with every opportunity that could arise in any scenario, right?
Yeah.
It seems like reasonable to think that would be the case.
And what just to see how they interact with the animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Gives us a lot of information right there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's
you could tell when people don't like animals. So I mean,
we've had that situation before. We had a family come in, and the father said, "Oh yes, we want to adopt a dog, and it's our son. The dog will be our son's dog." And the son was terrified of dogs. He didn't want to come and even pet the dog.
Yeah.
It was obviously that the father wanted the dog, and
right.
So but if not everybody in the family is
on board,
accepting of it, then it's not going to work.
Let's talk a little bit about fundraising from this perspective. That would be a direction I think we should go. So all on your website, I'm assuming, is all the dogs and their little GoFundMe's as necessary are in there as well, I assume?
The GoFundMe's are usually on our social media.
Got it.
But on the website, there certainly is a donation page. And then there's also the ability to donate towards a particular animal's care when you pull up the list of animals.
Beautiful.
We hold events for fundraising, and we're getting fundraising campaigns up and running, because our largest expense is our medical expenses. We do take care of our animals, and our next biggest expense is food. A lot of the animals are on veterinary diets, and the right diet for the animals, it can be the treatment for whatever condition they have, which is much better than putting them on medication. They respond much better to that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the events. Like what are some of the keynote events or moments that you really have a lot of money come in from those, and how can we support that?
Well, we try and run events that are for the community. So our next event is actually on June 13th. It's called Steps for Pets, and it's a pet walk, and people can walk with their dogs, and it's a small 2-kilometer route, but we're asking people to help fundraise, form a team, and see if they can raise as much money. Their team competing with other teams to raise money for Burlington Humane, and walking 2 kilometers. It's easy for people to do. And then
where is the walk? Doug?
Well, we're going to be starting here at Burlington Humane, 740 Griffith Court, and we're just going to be walking 1 kilometer and then come back to the shelter for a total of 2-kilometer walk on Saturday, June 13th. Yeah, fantastic. And we like to work with the community as well. The very next weekend, June 20th, we're partnering with the Burlington Pickleball Association. They're having a tournament, and we're going to be running the barbecue and supplying the food at the tournament. And that'll help us raise money. And then in September, we're going to be renting one of the pools from the city of Burlington, and we're opening the pool up for dogs in the community.
No
so
kidding.
And it's called
That's so
Pooch
cool.
Plunge. So much fun to see,
Pooch
50
Plunge.
dogs swimming in the pool.
It's
Fantastic.
wonderful.
Amazing. That's
Yes,
amazing.
we like to have lots of events that are specifically, that the community can get involved in.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And if you have a dog, Justin has two, I have two, and as you said, they're family. They're part of family. I always say to my partner that, the children are ready to go out. Just and so it's quite interesting how you embrace dogs as part of the
And
family.
we say that to families who want to adopt as well. Oh, the cat is for my kids. Well, there's going to be a time where the kids are going away to university, and then who's going to take care of the cat then?
Yeah.
It's going to be the parents. So it has to be, every member of the family has to be on board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big decision. Like having a cat or dog is like having another child in a lot of ways that needs the support.
Huge.
And so
Except you have to walk them every day.
Yeah.
Well, not the cats. The cats are a little more self-sufficient.
Wait a minute, you're not allowed to let it loose in the
Yeah,
That's true.
exactly.
That's true.
And then we have a lot of programs as well. As I mentioned before, we have our children's program, Burlington Humane Kids Club. We offer.
Can anybody join that, or how does that come about?
Well, we offer, it's a 10-week session, and we're in the middle of our spring session now. And so we'll be taking registrations for our summer session probably next month. Well, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
In May. Yep. And then we have a summer session, a fall session, winter session. Yep. So we take, it's a 10-week session people can sign up for. We offer pet first aid. We have a pet therapy program where people will take their certified pet therapy dogs to retirement homes and old age homes. And we even have a podcast where people can hear about topics that are of interest to people with pets.
Yeah. Cool. That's wonderful.
I'm just in love with this conversation because, we've often had people on that help other humans. But other humans also have their own voice as well and have their own ability in a lot of ways to take care of themselves. Whereas animals are in a position, especially domesticated animals, that where they don't have a voice, they don't have a say in how they're treated and what goes on with them. And you folks are stepping up to be a voice for the voiceless and protector of the voiceless in a way that is just amazing. And, I don't know what I would do without my dogs. And they're part of my family, as we've said. And for you to be protecting families that way, because that's what you're doing, is you're protecting families, and creating new families as well, which is very cool. I just want to say thank you for the work that you do. I know you probably get paid for what you do, but probably people don't walk in and say thank you enough. So thank you for what you do, because it's incredibly noble. I mean, the fact that you went out of your way to go save all those cats up in the middle of that's, how many people would think
That was an interesting story. That was
it's
very
incredible.
interesting.
I find it amazing. And so thank you. I appreciate you. And I'm sure on behalf of, pet lovers everywhere, we thank you, because you are what this world needs, is all I got to say about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if anybody needs anything, if you want to donate, if you want a pet, if you want to help save one of these beautiful animals, all the information will be below in the chat, in our text chat below. You go ahead and take a look, go search the animals. They're amazing. They're adorable. And I think we will bring you back, and we will take a little tour of the space, because we'd love to meet some of those animals one day too. So thank you for reaching out.
Don't forget to get involved in any one of the events that they put on their website, because obviously it's a lot of fun, especially a dog walk. And I think the pool plunge is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's one way of getting your pups in water, isn't it?
Exactly.
And it's amazing, because that's great. But next time we want to see the real thing.
We want to see the dogs. We don't care about you. Dogs and cats only. Get you out of there.
Anyway.
Thanks again.
Thank you
and
very much.
thanks for listening, everybody. And we will be back again soon next week. Talk to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.